What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my volleyball commentary on the Tokyo 2020 Indoor Volleyball Games. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer who provides volleyball tutorials, jump training workouts, and other cool volleyball videos. I just finished commentating the other semifinal match between Brazil and Russia, and if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you check out that game linked below because it was a surprising result. For this video, I'll be reviewing the other semifinal match between France and Argentina, which honestly are two surprising teams that have made it this far, and not to say that they don't deserve it, because both Argentina and France played so well in the quarterfinals, but they were not the teams that were expected to make it this far. So congratulations to both of them. I'm sure this is going to be another exciting game because the entire Olympics included so many upsets. So let me know in the comment section which game you would like me to commentate on next. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more volleyball content. Now let's get this Olympic party started. Now, I don't remember the last time Argentina and France had to play against each other in this important of a match. Engapet with a great pass, starting off with Brazar setting to Cliveno, and immediately side out from Cliveno. He's been playing so well during the playoffs in the men's Olympic finals here. And one thing that's been great for both teams is that no major injuries, so both teams are able to put forth their best lineup. Patry with a signature sky toss, and for Patry, one thing that's fascinating is he doesn't toss it as forward as all the other big jump servers. He's a little bit more conservative with his toss, keeps it behind the baseline, which in theory should increase the serving success of in. And Pacheco has been struggling to get his serve going, watching him in the quarterfinals and during pool play. Been a little bit streaky. He's got a cool outfit. He's got his baby blue Mizuno to match his Argentinian jerseys here. Cliveno with a short approach there, and Lima with a great serve receive. Grebennikov with a one-handed dig and tip kill from Engapet. And it looks like France is just starting with the same fire that they ended with in the quarterfinals. They are super excited to be here. And one thing that you love and appreciate about French volleyball, as much as I do, is they play with that underdog mentality. They know they are underranked, and they know they are always the team that is on paper going to upset people in the ranking, but they believe in themselves. They believe that they're the ones that should be on top here. And Conte with the jump serve. Argentina's best attacker. Fast served right to Grebennikov here. Brazar quickly to Engapet. Another tip attempt. And Pacheco quickly to Lima, the Argentinian opposite. And surprisingly, Grebennikov usually gets those balls off the floor. Anything that's not 1,000 miles per hour, Grebennikov usually gets. But sometimes if you're expecting a hard hit and then the ball deflects in another direction, it's hard to change direction there. Now Conte with a conservative start with the serving. Let's see if he puts a little more heat on it. It's a little bit better. Now he does aim for the seam, which does cause some hesitation from France. And Argentina goes right for the challenge request. And that is right on the baseline. And as soon as Conte served the ball, he was pointing in. He knew it right away. Sometimes you can tell when players are just begging for a call, but his point was immediate. He knew it was a great serve. 124 kilometers per hour. That's a pretty fast serve. Another hard serve, but that one goes out. Petrie playing dodgeball back there. Barely avoids being picked off by the out serve. And now Chinese in the front row. One thing you'll watch out for from Chinese, he's an athletic middle. He's not just tall, but he's very dynamic. So he will take a straight ahead approach and then drift to the left as he's jumping, making it very difficult for the opposing middles to follow. Now Soleil does something similar too. He actually likes to cut back just as much as Chinese, so maybe both teams are prepared to block each other's middles because Soleil and Chinese do the same thing. Soleil with a fast jump flow. Brazard quickly to Petrie. Ping pong defense from Argentina. And a great big set to Cliveno. Now Cliveno has been near perfect from the back row. You look here, it's not even that tight, but the timing is perfect. And Cliveno's technique and vision are also perfect. And the energy on France is already much higher than the energy of Argentina. Great pass from Palacios. And high over in the angle. That's his favorite hit. Ingapet roll shot easily to the Argentinian libero. And Lima aiming high hands but cannot get to the ball quickly enough. Might have been a little bit too low and wide from De Checo. And keep your eye on Donny. This game has two incredible liberos, which is expected. You cannot make it to the semifinal match without having an outstanding libero. Brazard, known for his setting ability, but also his amazing jump serve, hits that one out. And Tony Yuti has been starting majority of the matches in the Olympics. And once the quarterfinal hits, Brazard came in as a sub and has not left the starting lineup since. He's proven himself that he is the future of French volleyball. Lima with a hard jump serve, and they continue to aim at Grebennikov. They finally slow down Cliveno's back row attack here, and they try to set up Lima, and he does hit it high into the block, which is what he was going for before. That's a quick back row hit. Lima aiming for that line, and Petrie does a good job directing the ball back in, but his right arm stays off the net. That is one downside of swing blocking, is sometimes you can over-rotate, exposing the inside shoulder. And both teams trying to dial up their serves. They know that if they don't serve tough, the other team is just going to get into an offensive rhythm. So the risks are going to be worth it, especially in the semifinal match. Ingapet, usually a lethal server. I have not seen him get on his usual runs this entire Olympics year. And there we go. That's been pretty standard for Ingapet. Even with his performance, he's been a little bit inconsistent. But he's shown up big in big moments. But can he show up big the entire match? That's what's going to be needed to win in the semifinals and maybe the gold. Palacios has been in and out of the lineup too. He's a usual starter, but his passing is a little bit inconsistent. And something that Palacios does is he tends to force the angle a lot. That's his favorite hit. So if I were France, I would set up my block a little more inside to the court to force Palacios to dig down the line. Chinese is a pretty consistent server here. Jump float cross court to Conte, Argentina's second best passer. Great off blocker dig from Cliveno, and another high swing from Petrie. Smart play. That's what you're going to get from France. A lot of smart volleyball. They play in one of the toughest regions in the world, the European zone. Every team is so big and so physical and very skilled too that they can't get away with trying to hit low all the time. Rare passing error from Conte. And Petrie, instead of crushing it, he just smartly places it where nobody is. And that's one thing to understand about volleyball. Power is important. That's only one way to score a point. But as long as the ball hits the floor, that's all that matters. So, if you're a volleyball player, don't think about getting kills through power all the time. Think about finding ways to get the ball to the floor. And there we see another great swing from Lima. Lima getting a lot of line kills this match. And that was a good post from Cleveland because Lima usually likes to hit into the angle. So maybe they can give him even more line to force him to hit clean line and redirect the ball to Grebennikov. So they take away his hard angle. And Clivino taking a little bit off there, but just placing the ball really well against a single blocker from Argentina. Now Decheko, not known for his blocking. He's a decent size, 6'4". But Clivino, even if he had to, he could go over Decheko there. France already up by 2 points. And another rare passing error from Conte. Now Argentina, they don't have their usual same energy. They actually look a little nervous here. I mean, this is probably their first semifinals. I can't remember the last time Argentina made it this far in the Olympics. They've always had a solid program. But even for France, they have not been here in a while, or maybe ever. But France looks like they're acting like they belong here. In Argentina, just looks a little tentative, a little stiff. And Patrice continues to be conservative with his toss. Keeps it in play to Donny. And Conte with his fast swing. Now Conte, probably one of the fastest players on Argentina. Gets on the ball so fast. He's also one of the senior players. So when you're in trouble, he's always going to do something good with all that experience. Professionally, he's played left and right side. Another good high swing. Can they bump set to Conte out of system? Conte should take a swing, and he does. Look at that smart swing there. And France was well set up, but Conte was ready. He saw how he wasn't looking at the ball. After the ball was dug, he immediately transitioned off the net. That's one mistake that many players make, is after they block, they just look at to see where the ball is being dug instead of getting ready to hit right away. Soft serve to Ingapet there. Brazad has yet to get his middles going. Good tip from Legoff. And Legoff, a great height here. Good timing. Looks like Brazard gets him a little bit too tight to the net. But because Legoff touches so high, he's able to reach and have a big window and just tap it down. Jump float to Conte here. Decheko sets up the back row to Palacios. Great dig from Clivino. Bump set, tough hit, and Argentina smartly brings their hands down. That was a smart play from Ingapet, but an even smarter play from Argentina. That one, Ingapet going for high hands, and the moment a player starts to drop their elbow, that means they're going to aim upward or tip, so that's why the blockers bring their hands down. Great vision from Argentina. Solid passing from France so far. And that one, Brazard gets a better connection with Legoff. You see how he sets a little bit more at him. So he's setting at Legoff and allows him to swing across his body there. Brazard has an interesting arm swing. You see how thick his body is. He's built like a football or rugby player. He just goes up and just whacks at it. Not the smoothest technique, but he gets the job done. That was a tough transition play. Great vision from Lima. So good dig here. And Patrid just tries to give Ingapet an opportunity. But Lima, so disciplined, stays immediately on the net and gets his hands over early, not fooled by that fast play from France. France still up by 1 point. And Argentina looks like they're slowly settling into this match here. Soleil has played in many big matches in his professional career in Italy. And Patry exploits the seam. Now, even though there's a seam, you see how Patry keeps the ball high. You see how deep he swings. So if he does get blocked, it's going to recycle back off the net. what discipline hitting from Petrie. And Brazard has been setting a near perfect match. All of his hitters hitting at such a high percentage here. Great jump serve. That's what we're expecting. But Donny with an even better pass. And Lucer involved in the game. Pacheco finally finding his middles here. And if Argentina wants to succeed, they cannot do it without their middles. Both teams, but especially Argentina, since the French high ball hitters are a little bit stronger than the Argentinian high ball hitters. Powerful serve down the line from Lima. Has yet to get his serve going in this match. But we talked about this before in previous games. Errors are acceptable in the first set because people are still trying to figure out what their body can do and what feels good during the match. Four-man receive from Argentina to try to pass Ingapet's serve, and Ingapet misses his serve in the same way, right in the middle of the net. No adjustment there. At the minimum, you should be making a different error. So, definitely not the same error twice, because then there's no chance to improve anything. Argentina keeping it close, 1-point game. Palacios just rolls that in, and Grebennikov handles that easily. And Ingapet crushes it from the middle. You can hear a thud on the ball when he does hit the ball in full force here. And Chinese does a great job pulling the Argentinian middle. You see how Lucer commits to Chinese, leaving a wide lane from Ingapet, and Lima almost gets that ball up, but it's too hard to control. And got that quick nod from Ingapet. He knows that that was a great set. And France is just feeling it right now. Power tip from Argentina. And to the referee's credit, they've been calling this pretty consistently. The FIVB refs have been letting this go for so many years. But I believe after all the replays, they've been realizing that hitters are actually holding on to the ball longer than it looks, creating an unfair advantage to the attacker. Great swing from Lima. And notice that Pacheco, he doesn't set Lima as tight to the net as France does for Petrie. And that allows Lima to reach very high. Look at that, even from the back row, he's at the height of Cliveno's block. Whereas Petrie is more of a broad jumper from the back row here. Lucer with a top spin. High ball set to Petrie. Tip, kill. Nope. Off the ground from Pacheco. And good recycle from Conte. Let's see if France replays that. They would have to have pressed the challenge button mid-rally. So if France challenged it in time, looks like they did. Now, you can challenge mid-rally, but you have to do it immediately. You cannot wait till the end of the play to say, in the mid-rally, the ball touched the floor. And great call, great challenge from France. Now, if let's say France won the overall point, and they did a mid-challenge, and they lose the challenge, let's say the ball was dug by Pacheco, the point would actually go to Argentina. So you have to be absolutely sure, regardless of the end result of the rally, when you're challenging mid-rally there. France up by 3 points here, continuing to build their confidence. That was a hard serve from Petrie, and tip kill from Soleil. Soleil is so deceptive with his attacking. He opens up to the right, and he waits to see what the block is going to do before he attacks the ball. Now, if I were to stop Soleil, I would actually take away his cutback. I would block right in front of his chest with my feet, but then reach to the right to force him to hit to the right of his body. And heavy swing from Cliveno. He's been near perfect this entire match here. Now we have that. Look at that. There's not much line that Lima gives, but Cleveland takes that, goes across his body. If you want to hit down the line, you want to, as a right-hander, you want to contact on the top right of the ball and follow through down to your left side of your waist. Donny with a fast pass. And another fantastic swing from Lima. Lima's having a great game so far. Now the difference maker, both high ball hitters for both teams are playing really well, but the French middles have been involved in the offense, where the Argentina middles have yet to be involved in the offense. I believe only one kill from Lucer. And Bizarre just knows he had a beat on that one, but Lima too big and too strong. Conte with a great serve so far. Serves it short to Cleveland. And high soft block from Argentina. In tempo swing or set from Grebennikov, and Palacios not ready. No, he does not. He chooses not to set Soleil and instead leaves Lima one-on-one. Palacios, they got lucky. They did not get a swing previously in that last rally, but in this one they were able to put it away. And Lima, that's his favorite hit. He loves to hit down the line. You see how wide his approach is. He's pre-positioning himself to hit in the angle. And already 6 kills on 7 attempts. A near perfect hitting performance. Now Conte has not been getting any ace, or he's got one ace. Ooh, rare misconnection. It looked like it was a little too high to Le Goff here. Let's see in the replay. Great pass. And yeah, just a little too high. And if you're setting Le Goff too high, you know it's too high. That's above the antenna. Now the tough thing about Brizard is he's very tall, 6'6", 6'7". And so as a tall setter, it's hard to take off so much power because you're already at the height of where you want to set it. So being a tall setter is nice because you have a big window to set from, but it comes with its own challenges. Conte with his third serve, Argentina's most consistent server. Even though he's not getting aces, he's allowing France to make some errors there. A little misconnection from France again, and into the angle again in the same way, hitting Patry in the chest. Now Ingapet knows he could have put a better block. He's just leaving the entire French defense just alone. He needs to dive into the angle. That's way too much court. And that's the matchup. Now DeCheco setting a great game. So matchups are where the size and power of the hitter compared to the size of the blocker. And Bruno Lima, 6'7", 6'8", matched up with 6'3" Ingapet. Good roll shot. Donny with a fantastic dig. Another back set to Lima. And Le Goff just hangs there. Looks like the set was a little low, and Lima just trying to keep it in play here. But he could have tipped it a little higher because Le Goff has great middles. They're all big, but they also jump well. Look at that hang time. He reaches right over Ingapet and almost falls on top of him. That's commitment to the block there. Now Luati with a jump serve. He's actually been a great jump serving specialist for France. He usually comes in for one of the middle, so he comes in for Le Goff, and he adds a little bit of defense. Traditionally an outside hitter here, so he's created a great role for himself. And there we see his serving specialist role. Argentina tied it up, but France coming in with such a timely serve. That is one of the hardest serves to pass. And in rotation 2, you have the middle loading on the right, and you also have your opposite hitter on the right. So visually, there's a lot of obstructions. And so that was the best time to serve that area 1-to-1. France with a 1-point lead. Luati, can he get another ace? He serves right to Donny. And they try to get Soleil going, but a little misconnection. And Soleil, I think, tries to hit too far to the right. Let's see what they're challenging here. I think the coach is just trying to slow the game down because they haven't used any challenges yet this match. And that's exactly how you slow down Soleil. You see how France took away his cutback shot. They jumped to the right. And so Soleil hitting to the right, which is not as comfortable with. He's much more comfortable with letting the ball cross his body. Yeah, not even close. I think the coach just trying to slow it down a little bit. So you see how Chinese is jumping to the left because he's committed with his feet to the right. So great blocking move from Chinese there. Even though he did not get a direct block, he forced Soleil to do something uncomfortable, creating a hitting error there. France back up by 2 points. Luati making a huge impact this one. Sails it out. He hits a little bit under the ball. I think he knew that he was a little early on his approach. But he's done his job. 3 for 1. That is a great trade-off at this level. Even just going 2 for 1, serving 2 serves, you've done a spectacular job. So 3 for 1 is more than what you're going to expect from your serving specialists. And Soleil has been pretty consistent. No aces, but at least it's in. And Argentina has actually been playing some solid defense because they've been scoring pretty well in transition, especially when they set Lima, the ball he likes here. Klivno, so consistent with passing. And that's that drifting middle attack that we see from Chinese. If they play the replay, he'll start his straight approach, and he's going to jump a little bit to his left, and that's why Lucer is forced to reach to the right. See, a little bit drifting to his left. Now, even though the set was a little bit low, because Chinese is drifting, he creates a small hole in the block. So Lucer needs to commit more to the right and dive left in order to stop Chinese there. Brizard surprisingly goes to a jump float, and Palacios hit his favorite angle. Great kick save from France. Can they get the middle going? No, they go straight to Lima. Lima gets a lucky cover on himself, and Klivno, back row, can't get it done. Palacios gets shut down by France. What a great finish from France. They were determined from beginning to end. Can Argentina shake off the nerves and play with their usual level of confidence and energy here? Great quick transition. That's going to be the fastest connection you're going to see between both teams. France, they do run a fast offense, but not as fast as Argentina, especially with Conte. Conte is somebody that you can just shoot to the outside. 6'5", decent size, and great arm. DeCheco just keeping it in. Engapet keeping in a low pass there, and Klivno continues his near-perfect hitting performance. See that low pass, and Brizard keeps him in tempo, and Klivno does a great job attacking the outside hand of Lima. Even though Lima set up his block well, Klivno just attacks the weakest part of the block, deflecting it off out of bounds. 5 kills on 7 swings. Patry continues to serve harder. I've not seen him serve this hard throughout the entire performance, and Conte keeps Argentina in the game. Conte, look at that. He can hit both left and right side here. Quick 3-step approach and goes across his body. If you want to hit the angle, contact top right and follow through to the left of your body. And you see how he does a great job staying square. When you stay square, you can rotate for a little more power, or you can just swing arm all speed. Great pass from Grebennikov here, and high set to Patry, allowing him to elevate, but does he get the hands here? The referee doesn't think so. Let's see if France uses a replay. Yes, they do. That was a little higher set to Patry than maybe what he was expecting, so he was hitting on the way down, forcing him to swing a little bit flat. But still a pretty smart swing, still in the direction of the hands of the block. He does get a pinky from Palacios. There's no way to detect that one other than the replay. And Coach Tilly, frustrated with the reffing crew, how did you not catch that one? People don't realize that when you're reffing at this level, the ability to see those touches, which they actually do most of the time, surprisingly, you have to have incredible instincts. And there we go, Lima trying to challenge the angle again. That is one downside with Lima, is that he tends to bring the ball down. He tends to swing a little bit low out of system here. So he's got to swing almost out just to be able to challenge the block of Legoff. Look how high Legoff gets. He's significantly higher than Ingapet and Brazard, so Lima also needs to attack Ingapet or Brazard's block, not straight in the middle to Legoff. There's another quick transition from Conte, and Conte with that fire. Now Argentina is starting to play with a little bit more energy, and you see the bench slapping the barrier for their own drums, since there is no audience to bring the drums here to get Argentina going here. Look at that great follow through. Soleil jump float cross court to Ingapet. Ingapet's been passing low and tentative, not his usual high ball control self, and that's a much better set to Patry. You see how Brazard brings him a little bit faster of a set, which allows Patry to accelerate instead of slow down. But Patry is such a smart hitter that even though he gets inconsistent sets sometimes, it's rare because both of the French setters are very good. He knows what to do with it. He doesn't wait for perfect sets to terminate. He can terminate in almost any situation here. Legoff with like a top spin serve, but he changes it to a jump float. And Lima does a better job swinging high, but still challenging the middle block. And Ingapet, no look tool down the line. That's a signature move. See how he faces into the angle, and then goes across his body here to the outside hand of Lima. So France has finally found a way to slow down Lima. He played a near perfect game in the first set. And if Lima wants to play better, he needs to attack the smaller blocker. That's the angle hit that Palacios usually likes. Still continues to get slowed down. And Brazard high set to Ingapet. And Ingapet swings high deep corner. You see the difference between Argentina and France is their transition play. France out of system is a little bit better than Argentina out of system here. This is a solid three-man block, but you see how Ingapet challenges the smaller blocker, Palacios. Now, Palacios is still a very good height, 6'6", 6'7", but he doesn't touch as high as Lima. And Ingapet goes for that high percentage swing, cross-court corner. And that's what Lima has to do. Swing that deep corner, and we see the usual sub when Palacios is not contributing. Poglegen, he's the one that usually comes in, a veteran for the Argentinian national team. So we'll see some consistent play from him there. And that's the connection we need from Lucer. The Checo needs to get his middles going. So Lucer does a great job letting the ball across his body and then cut back. A little bit taste of Chinese's own medicine here. What a great fast set there. Leaning back a little bit. Similar to Soleil. They like to hang and bang. Hang in the air for a little bit. Wait for the ball to cross his shoulder and then cut back there. Klivno with a perfect pass. And fast set to Ingapet. Great block from Argentina. Overpass on the free ball. Now, can Argentina convert? Run Lucer again. Now, Lucer is more of a traditional middle. You see how he's open to the right of the court, 45 degrees. He's facing area 5 first. And if the middle doesn't take it, then he immediately swings early into the angle. See how he's open and he swings early. That's how you contact area 5. If you want to hit to the left, you swing a little bit later. And this all depends on if there's a blocker in your way. Lucer, 3 kills on 4 attempts here. Solid serve. Patry dodging the ball. Lima, his third service error. He's been struggling to get his serve going in this match here. And he's usually one of Argentina's best servers. And Argentina still yet to get Soleil going. Soleil usually the better attacker, but Lucer having a better game. Brazard going back to his jump serve, and Pogleden with a great pass here. And a good soft block from Chinese, fast set from Grebennikov, and another no-look swing from Ingapet. No-look swings are so hard to stop because usually blockers are lining up with wherever their body and approach is facing. Now it's a no look into the seam. You usually do not see that very often. Look at that great quick jump set, just like Nishinoya here. And Decheko lines up well. Now if you see a hole in the block like that, the middle back needs to step up to dig the straight down. If the block is closed, then you need to stay back and dig behind the blocker on the baseline here. Roll shot to Donny. And Pug again with his first serve. Great cover from Ingapet there. Brazard with a swing. He's got a big arm, but he's a setter. Lima, can he swing hard cross court? Brazard with another great dig here. Ingapet out of system. Roll shot, tries to recycle it. Petrie with a bump set. Another recycle. But they're going to get another free ball transition. They need to set Lisser here. No, they set a low quick set to Conte. And another, that's a bad set to Ingapet. Now Grebenikov trying to get a little too tricky, which I don't blame them. You have to go big in order to win the big points here. Great cover from Grebenikov. And Donny so solid on defense and serve receive here. So that one he should have gone a little bit more across his left shoulder instead of directly side setting. So that's a rare error from Grebenikov. Grebenikov usually is very, very solid in his backup setting. Now Ingapet, part of the reason why France has been doing so well and staying so positive and aggressive, Ingapet's attitude has improved so much. And cut back, great read from Pugligen. But they cannot save the overpass there. Pugligen knows he had a chance to keep that off the net, but he was in the right spot. So that's the benefit of having a veteran. You get these reads, but that's Pugligen's first set dig the entire match. So he's still trying to calibrate himself. Now going back to Ingapet's attitude, he usually honestly brings his team down. He gets upset at them, he gets frustrated, and he doesn't take responsibility for his own errors. But this match, he's doing the exact opposite. Actually, the entire Olympics. Great swing from Conte. Conte has been so solid. He stays open to the setter and then contacts top right and goes across his body, finishes toward his left hip. That's how you hit that picture perfect line. And look at the intensity in his eyes there. And Petrie can't do anything about that, even though Petrie has a size advantage. When you have a smart player who has a lightning fast arm swing, hard to stop there. Easy pass from Brazard. Quick set from Ingapet. Tip kill. No, Conte needs to get that. The blockers should not have to reach back. That's a rare error from Conte, and Conte knows it. Do not expect your blockers to dig tips unless it's directly on top of them. They need to focus on blocking, and players moving forward to dig have a much better chance than blockers moving backwards to try to dig the ball where they can barely see it. France up by 3 points here. Plugdegen with the better pass here. Conte swinging high deep corner, easily handled by France. High set to Cliveno. Cliveno's been so good out of system. And again, he comes in big. Look at this triple block. Well-formed triple block. He swings right in the seam between Donny and Pugligen there. You can't do anything about that. Argentina was set up exactly how you should set up against a three-man block. So the block maybe needs to push in a little bit more, take away some of those sharp angles. Very tricky play from Decheko. And Decheko doing a good job trying to relieve a little bit of pressure from his hitters. He's so deceptive, so calm. Look at that. He's running. He looks like he's going to get the middle going. And you see how Legov jumps hardcore with the middle there. And Ingapet frustrated at himself knowing he had that. And that's what we see more of now. Ingapet frustrated more with himself than with his players. And I think that takes a little bit pressure off his players there. High swing, good dig from Pugligen. Another good touch from him. And that was a good joust from Conte. Now France are going to try to argue the lift here, but this is a good let go, simultaneous contact, and he wipes it off the block. You can actually hold the ball a little bit as long as both players are touching it at the same time. 2 decades ago, anytime there was a joust, meaning 2 players touching the ball at the same time, it used to be an immediate replay. But the FIBB has been doing a great job allowing for more continuous play. Sorry, I hit my mic there. Allowing for more continuous play and letting more situations go and less stoppages, so it's easier to watch. Simultaneous contact, I think I'm going to try to call for the net. Now sometimes coaches are starting to call these plays, so at least the referee, to try to convince the referee that it might have been a lift call. A referee is never going to reverse that, but Coach Tilly is trying to get into the referee's head, trying to communicate to him that, look, he lifted the ball, and you got to call it next time. So that's some psychological tactics there. One challenge remaining for France. Decheko just needs to serve in, and he makes it a little bit tougher there, forcing the pass off the net. Another great swing from Clevenot. Clevenot traditionally has not been a starter. Kevin Tilly has been starting a lot of matches here, especially in the VNL, but Clevenot has come in big into the Olympics. That's a perfect swing off the outside hand from Soleil. Argentina had a great job setting up their block, pressing over, keeping their hands still, but Clevenot has been attacking the softest part of the block, which are the fingers. Heavy serve from Patrick. Decent pass from Poglidjen, and Decheko going with a risky bump set to the middle there. And another great, Poglidjen has been touching everything. I hope he stays in the game, because it's only going to be a matter of time before he starts to dial in his control there. And Clevenot hits, the Conte gives him a little too much line, forcing Poglidjen to be indecisive of which direction to go. France up 4 points. France in position to steamroll Argentina, but this whole Tokyo Olympics has been so many 5-setter upsets. Several teams winning the first 2 and then losing the next 3. We'll see if this is the theme for Argentina here. They did it against the USA. Conte trying to keep Argentina in the game with his serve here. He's been hitting so well. Hits into the net. It's so hard to excel in every facet and to be on point the entire match. Unless you're Clevenot, then you're spectacular in all facets. Jump float there, just out. Interesting change from Clevenot. He's been jump serving well. I'm not sure why he would even change it. Sometimes great competitors outgame themselves, because if something is working, if something is keeping you in rhythm, no need to change it. No need to get too greedy here. And Soleil only averaging 1 serve. And he does a great job going down the line, forcing Clevenot to pass poorly, which is rare. Short free ball. Can they get Lucero going? Yes, they can. They run a little bit of a push one, which means the middle is purposely drifting to the left here because he's coming at a sharp angle. And you see how that opens up the whole court. Le Goff getting in front of Lucero's body, but cannot recover with his arms. So that's something that most setters want to run when the middle is approaching from the right front. Because they're coming in at such an angle, it's hard to stop that momentum, so you just flow with it a little bit. And Clevenot recovering immediately from that serve-receive ball. Great day from Conte here. High set to Poglidjen. Smart swing, but no one can cover that. Poglidjen did a great swing high into the block, but Argentina was not ready to cover. We saw that in a previous game where we have some people standing. They're not fully committed. Look at that high swing into Brazard. He does the right move by trying to attack the smaller blocker. Argentina needs to add a little bit more to every area, serving, covering, all the little things. And Conte, does it get blocked? Yes, he does. They start camping on him. What a good read block from France, because Lucero's been hitting really well. Chinese waiting for that one. Maybe because they know that Decheko might not set the same middle twice, because he has been setting Lucero. But this is information that you get from the scouting report. You look for patterns and you use those patterns to help you make the best choice possible in game.
Replicate that at the international level. Knows this. Semifinal is starting to slip
France
away.
up by 4.
Argentina.
They've been maintaining a consistent lead this entire match, and the key is their out-of-system attack here, because Argentina has been passing pretty well. Poglehen with his first kill. I'm sorry, Poglehen. I forgot that the J is pronounced like an H in Spanish. Poglehen. Great high swing off Brazard. Brazard trying to take away that late seam. And you see how he finishes his block a little bit late, right after contact. Soft serve from Lima. Lima just trying to keep that in play because he's missed every serve up to this point, and he continues to miss his serve. And the Argentinian coach just upset, just frustrated. I would be frustrated too. Argentina making some silly mistakes, but France with such attacking, blocking, and service pressure, forcing them to make those silly mistakes. So it's not all Argentina's fault here. Tough service pass. Poglehen soft roll shot to Engapet. He digs it well. And good recycle from Engapet. Another fast set to Petrie, but great soft block. Can they get Lima going? No, they run Conte from the middle back. Missed opportunity there. Good bump set from Grebennikov, and Grebennikov sets up Petrie for a easy high kill from Petrie, and that's what you expect from him. Smart swinging. And another opportunity where Argentina fails to convert on good passes in transition. On the other side, France terminating on almost every single transition play. Argentina has not developed that high swing. They usually try to beat you around the block or in the seam or just with speed. Donny with the bump set. Can they get Poglehen going? Poglehen tries to swing high but overgoes. So he's trying to make the right move, but when you don't do that consistently as a team, you're not ready to do it during the game. Because you see how France is very comfortable swinging high, and then even when they miss, it's only by a few millimeters. I think this is a great change here. When all your hitters look out of rhythm, then you get a different setter in to see if they can get a better connection with all the hitters. And Pereira, we haven't seen him in a while. He's been also a super sub. He is a fantastic opposite, physical player. And Sanchez, only 5'8", one of my favorite setters in the world because he's so undersized, but he plays with the highest level of confidence here. Great dig from Donny, and immediately gets a kill from Sanchez, and that's what you want from your subs, to come in and change it up. Look how short he is. He's barely above the bottom of the net, but he doesn't care. If you can play, you can play. That's the most important thing. Look at that. He gets Lucer even against a two-man block. When you give someone a good set, you give them the best chance to deal with a big block like that. Short serve, diving play from Engapet, and good read block from Lucer there. Pancake from Conte. Conte recycles it off the block. Poor cover from Argentina. Engapet down the line. Engapet is so good from the left and right. That's another missed simple play from Argentina here, and Conte just doesn't look ready. And that should have been an easy cover from Pereira. Ooh, Conte just gives them just a little bit of line. That is actually a good block. And Engapet takes the risk and squeezes it in down the line. Now, Donny, usually fantastic on defense, can't get the ball up. Engapet, only 6 kills on 17 attempts. But he's been the glue of the team so far. Good let go from Poglehen. He has not been serving well this entire tournament. But great insight from Coach Tilly to still leave him in, because Engapet's been pretty inconsistent this tournament. But he knows that he somehow leads the team with his fiery performance, and he keeps the team to a high standard there. Brazard quick set to Kleveno, and looks like he overswings. Very rare error. Usually with his high swings, he's on point there. Fantastic pass from Engapet. Brazard gets Kleveno a good set, but even in perfect situations, You can still make mistakes, and that's what's so great about sports. Is everyone is trying to achieve a perfect performance, but it's unattainable. If everyone was perfect, it would be boring to watch. Lucero going back to his topspin serve. He's been going back and forth between his jump float and topspin there. Wow, what a great one-handed bump set. Sorry, not one-handed set from Brizard. When they show the replay, look how stiff Brizard's hand is. Stiff, and he pokes it. The reason why you want a stiff arm, a stiff hand as a one-handed set, because all the weight of the ball is distributed on one hand, whereas when you're setting with two hands, you want a softer hands so that you have a more even release. Setting with one hand is about stiff fingers and pointing to where you want to finish there. Great dig from Chinese, not enough heat from Soleil, and a crush from Clevino. That was a crazy angle, and Conte has no time to react to that one. Conte does a good job getting set up. He's still on contact, but he's just trying to not get hurt, trying to protect the family jewels there. Wow, against a two-man block. Soleil, usually a better blocker, but he's been struggling to get more blocks in the Olympic tournament. France up by 6 here. Now Ramos in. Another middle, see if they can get some different type of chemistry going. And Conte right back at him with a sharp angle. Isn't that funny? I love it when that happens in sports. When players from the same positions try to one-up each other. Like setters, once one setter gets a dump, the other setter will try to get a dump just to show that, hey, I'm a better setter. Or I can do that too. And Conte with a sharp angle hit. Now Sanchez in the front row. We'll see if they set Clevino for that matchup, and they do. So usually Clevino, who's 6'6", 6'5", is much taller, obviously, than Sanchez, 5'8". France will continue to try to exploit that matchup, even if it's predictable. Clevino can hit right over Sanchez here. Good topspin. Tough pass from Poglehen here. Out of system swing from Conte, and Conte playing his professional volleyball in Poland and Brazil, so he knows how to deal with that big block. Look at that. When you're swinging that high against Lagoff, this is intentional. Look, he's swinging out. Now, unfortunately, he's the only high ball hitter that can do this consistently because he's played against the big European teams throughout his professional career. But he can't be the only one that can do that here. Funny miss there. I think he was serving down the line, but he over-rotates and swings too far and low away from his body there. I think he was targeting Ingapet. Now Boyer in for Ingapet as a blocking substitute. See if France can just finish this game on a block, and also to give Ingapet a little bit rest, because he has taken a lot of hitting attempts here. Good coaching move from Tilly. And there we have Pereira. Good kick save from Sanchez. Can they bump set all the way to the outside? Poglehen, he needs to take a swing on that one because France is just going to ram it down the throat there. And that's interesting. That one was a lift call. I think the ref has been pretty consistent with him. You can see how long he holds it in his hand before he contacts the block. And Argentina just looks out of sorts there. They got lucky with that one. Rare setting mistake from Brizard. And Ramos with his first serve of the match. So much pressure. 24-19. He needs to get 5 in a row just for Argentina to have any chance of winning this set here. Topspin server. Keeps it in play to Grebennikov. And wide set to Engapet. They've been slowing down Engapet here. Good bump set from Conte. And Poglehen again free balls it. They can only do that so many times before that happens. And Poglehen needs to be way more aggressive on that one. You either take a chance to score it, or you give France an opportunity to finish the game there. We'll see who Argentina starts. They bring back the Checo and Lima, so they go with their usual starting group. But instead, they start Poglehen. I think that's a good choice. Give him a chance to prove something, because his passing is better and his defense is better than Palacios. Even though Palacios is a little bit stronger attacker, I think Argentina needs to pass consistently just to get their other hitters going here. And that was a great triple block from Argentina.
That's one of the keys to the French lead.
This is Argentina's best front row. They have Lima hitting right, Soleil front row, and Conte left front. Good blocking, but also good attacking here. Poglahen putting a little more heat on the ball there. And another opportunity for Klivno. Miscommunication on that deep tip there. This is Decheko should have gotten this one. But the problem is Decheko, it's tough as a setter because you are focused so much on setting that he was trying to release early, expecting his teammates to get the tip, but the tip fell very close to him. So one thing to keep in mind as a setter, think about you have to play defense first. Great bump set from Donny, giving Conte another chance to swing high off the block. So you see that play. France does that consistently with all their high ball hitters, and only Conte can do this from Argentina there. And again, a high tool off of Lagoff. And if France can see Conte's approach, they should have brought their hands down last minute because it was pretty obvious that Conte was not going to swing downward on that one. Soleil is struggling to get into this match here. And Ingapet with an okay pass, high set to Patry, and pancake from Soleil. Great effort, another high swing from Conte. Do they get that matchup again for Patry? Yes, they do. Now, why does Brizard keep going to Patry? Because he's trying to get a better matchup. Look at that, a double dive. Look how long Soleil's arms are. I love it when players just don't give up. The power of not giving up. Now, going back to what we were talking about with Patry hitting against Conte. Conte only 6'5", Patry 6'10", and a good jumper. So that's the matchup you want, exploiting that blocking matchup there. Conte with an okay pass, fast set to Lima, and Lima finally going for that high swing, and I believe that was a touch. And Lagoff tapping his head, saying, "Yeah, I got that one." Now Lagoff, being a huge player, being a big target to Tool, and Lima finally bringing in a higher swing there. His low swing is not going to work in the final four. I'm surprised France challenged this because I thought that Lagoff took credit for the touch. Oh, there is no touch here. That's still a great swing though. That's a great swing. He needs to go for that again until he gets it right. Otherwise, Argentina has no chance to score against the big French block. Signature high toss from Patry. Great pass from Conte here. And look at how fast that set is. But Brizard commits early. That's the only way to stop this fast of a set. You have to hyper commit early. And a quick shuffle block diving into the angle there. Wow, so rare. Conte had so much line open. He gets a little bit greedy and tries to hit that sharp angle. Look how much line was open. That's tough. That's the danger about setting that fast of a set. Sometimes you force your hitters into a single position there because it's so fast you don't have time to make a decision. And Lima with the high swing there. Great recovery from Brizard, and Patry is ready. And Patry, again, France is better out of system. Fantastic dig from Ingapet. Great bump set from Brizard. He's not just trying to keep it in play. He's running an offense. Now look at how much line Patry has. Patry seeing the block so well out of system. Mentally, you have to be ready for those plays. A lot of players just end up watching to see if the setter can get the ball, but Patry had full faith in Brizard. Now Patry has not got any aces, I believe, this match. He's just been very, very consistent. Of course, right when I say it, he gets an ace there. And Poglahen, he just looks very tentative. If he doesn't pick up his aggression and confidence soon, they're going to need to bring Palacios back. They go for the four-man receive. Lima can actually pass pretty well. So you notice that Argentina consistently goes with four-man receives when Lima is in the back row. against jump servers, just to give a little bit more things for the server to think about, but also less space for the receivers to take up. So especially in rotation 4, where Lima is right back. Rare service error from Petrie. He's been serving harder and harder. He's been more conservative throughout the tournament, but I think he knows he's got to get his arm warm to win in the semifinals, but more importantly, to try to be ready for the finals, because it looks like France is going to take this match here. And Lima tossing a little bit too low. He's been missing into the net. And usually when that happens, you're rushed in your approach and you're forced to contact too much on top of the ball, forcing a downward trajectory. France up now by 4 points. Klivno has been serving pretty well. He takes a little bit off that one. Donny with his usual great pass. And a cutback tip from Lucer. Decheco finding him. And I think France was committed to this block. Yes, Le Goff read that really well. He took away the cutback, and Lucer sees the golf, and he sees him, and he just tries to cut a little bit more around him. Now, Le Goff runs a more traditional one straight ahead, whereas the Argentinian middles will drift a little bit more, just like Chinese. Trying to create those small holes in the block. Tight set from Ingapet, but easily handled by him. The only way to hit these tight sets is to jump straight up. So you have to take a bigger second step to get closer to the ball, because if you broad jump, you're going to go right into the net. You see how Ingabet does a good job jumping straight up, giving him time to actually rise to the ball, avoid the net, and make a decision to tool there. And that's that cutback. I'm surprised Chinese is struggling to stop this, because this is exactly what Chinese does, but he can't block against himself during practice. When they show the replay, you'll see Lucer again drifting, letting the ball across the shoulder and crushing it down the line. That must be part of the Argentinian style of middle attacking, because Soleil does the exact same thing. I didn't get a chance to see Ramos, the third middle, do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does the same thing there. Great back set, high swing, good dig from Conte. Can Lima keep the swing high? He goes sharp and across. They need to make Lima swing more line. That's not what he's comfortable with here. He loves that cut back across his body. You see how he's able to see where he's hitting as he's swinging. Usually when he hits down the line, he does a no-look line hit, which is risky because you can't really see exactly where you're hitting. You're just kind of feeling the block there. So if Lima gets going, France is going to be a little trouble, because he can dominate a game as well here. High ball set to Ingapet, and Ingapet gets blocked. We'll see who claims that one. Does Decheco claim this one? I think Ingapet tries to challenge Decheco again. Stays open to the net and tries to challenge the seam between Soleil and Decheco there. He swings a little bit low, below the hands. That's why the block came down. The ball came down off the block a little bit faster. Great triple block from Argentina. Well timed, pressed right before contact of the ball. Top spin. Error into the net, and Lucer has actually been pretty consistent with his topspin serve, so that's okay. You can't get upset at players for making errors when they've been having a great performance. It's going to happen. The focus should be, can you maintain the confidence of those players who are in a good rhythm? You don't want to disrupt their confidence by getting on them for one or two errors here. Brizard has not gotten his serve going this match here. There we go. That's what we're used to seeing, that heavy jump serve. Fast set from Plogelhen, and shut down from Petrie. Look at that celebration here. Looks like Petrie is able to seal the line. He takes away the line and brings his right arm down around the block. So when you're a post blocker, you have to get your outside hand on the outside of the ball to direct it back. And he does that. Plogelhen actually doing a good job aiming for the line, trying to go for the tool, but Petrie with a better blocking hand position. Great pass from Conte there with a laser from Petrie, and Plogelhen with a much better move there, keeping it high into the angle. And I'm glad he didn't tip that ball. Sometimes hitters, when they get blocked like that, they immediately lose confidence and then they tip, or they play it safe, but Poglahen right back at the block to try to challenge it in a different way there. Topspin from Decheko, targeting Ingapet there. Back set, good soft block, but Soleil can't get there in time. And Ingapet is starting to get going. Something that maybe Ingapet is starting to develop in his career is a slow start. Usually he comes firing out of the gate, but this Olympics, he starts off slow, and then as he gets his rhythm throughout the match, he starts to play better and better. But he's the fire. He's been the glue for France. Short serve right into the bottom of the net, and he this entire Olympics, I'm wondering why his serve has just been so inconsistent. Usually, at least professionally, he's a lethal server. So very fortunate for Argentina that they don't even have to worry about Ingapet's serving run. Argentina only down by 2. Can Poglahen get something going? He goes right for the seam mirror, takes out Klevno. They have to force high swing. And how do you hit that sharp angle on the 3-meter line? That's incredible. This is great footwork from Klevno. You see how he's patient and he stays behind the ball, allowing him to contact with a lot of power. Stays behind it and then cuts across to the right. That was a solid block by Argentina, but just a better hit from Klevno. 3 points up from France. Good pass from Poglahen and cutback. Great dig from Bazard, and Lagoff reaches over the net. That was a good call. When the ball is completely on the opponent's side, you cannot touch the ball. And Lagoff making the right move. It's hard to judge if the ball is over, and you have to be aggressive there. You have to make aggressive moves. You cannot make the ref call the ball whether it's over. Don't let the ball cross over. If you're going to make a mistake, it's got to be an aggressive mistake. 2-man receive from France here. Klevno steps in, takes a short ball. A little bit high on the set from Patry, but Patry knows what to do. He tools it on the outside hand of Lucera. Lucera a little bit late, even though the set was a little bit higher. So Lucera had a little bit more time to close with his feet, unless he was cheating right, expecting it to go outside. France maintains their 3-point lead here. Good pass from Donny. And we get to see a big set from Poglahen. I like Poglahen coming back into this game and contributing there, and Decheko having full faith in Poglahen. Now, Poglahen and Decheko have been playing together for longer than some of the other players, so maybe that's why they have a pretty good connection right off the bat. Poglahen has been a veteran for a while, as well as Decheko, so it's good to see veterans continuing to trust each other, knowing what each other are capable of, because Decheko knows he just cannot depend only on Conte, Lima, and Lucera to win the game. They need all hitters contributing. Serving into the net, France starting to let down with their service pressure. Maybe a little too much fatigue from all the excitement of the first 2 sets here. And Coach Talib taking a deep breath, knowing that they are keeping Argentina in this game here. Conte topspin. Also can't get a serve going. Sometimes that can happen. Conte, I'm sure, feels like he needs to carry the team on his back because he's the only one that's been consistently terminating, passing well, serving well. And as a result, you end up doing too much. You can only do so much as one player, and you have to trust your teammates to do their job and just do your job as well as you can. That was a bad service error from Lagoff, completely out. And Coach Tilly a little frustrated even more. They continue to keep Argentina within striking distance. Now, if I were France, I would wait on Soleil and commit to Lima and Poglahen. Soleil has been struggling this match. Let him get some kills because percentage-wise, Poglahen is a bigger threat. And great cutback block from Soleil. That's what we talked about. Jump into Chinese's drift. You see how he goes straight and he jumps to the left, and Soleil does a great read on that. He gets his feet set up, and then he also positions himself to cut back on the right. It's almost like blocking yourself because Soleil does the same thing. That's what we're used to seeing from Soleil. Great blocking. He's such a good blocker. Plays professionally in Italy. Hard serve to Engapet. Great pass though. Fast all the way to the outside, and Engapet continues to get blocked. Soleil with another fantastic block. Ramos playing the drums on the sideline, getting his Argentinian team spirits up. And that was a bad swing from Engapet. He goes right for the meat of the block, trying to beat it in the seam. Engapet's been doing so well swinging high. He needs to bring back the high swing. He cannot go for the flashy swings here. 3 blocks already for Sebastian Soleil. Argentina tying it up from Lucer's serve here. And of course, as soon as I talk about it, he serves out. But that was a great serving performance. 3 for 1. Great ratio from anyone at this level. Usually teams are so good at siding out that people are trading points. So to get a 2-1 or 3-1 advantage, that's huge. We'll see if Pacheco can get Soleil going on his attack, because now that he's fired up from blocking, usually you're going to get a little bit more attacking from them. And he does, but Chinese somehow reads that so well. Young middle blocker. He commit blocks. And Soleil does a good job keeping the swing high. But Soleil, as you can see, not comfortable hitting to the right. He's much more comfortable cutting it back. Now, Pacheco made a good setting choice trying to get Soleil going. He knows that you have to get more hitters involved in the offense here. That's a better miss by Bizarre. Frustrated knowing that he can hit that ball in easily, but he has not dialed in his serve this match yet. Now, fortunately for France, they've been siding out at such a high percentage that they can handle a few service errors here. But 1-point game. Hand pass from Engapet there. Quick to Patry. Slowed down from Argentina here. And they give Soleil another opportunity. Cover play. Can Poglahan put it away? Yes, he does. What a cover play from Argentina. And Chinese just shutting down Soleil here. Chinese jumping into the cutback. And cover by Soleil. I love Soleil's work ethic. That's what you want out of your middles. And Poglahan finally in the game, hitting into that seam. Wow, what a good transition play. And this is what we need from Argentina. Once they start converting on these transition plays, then they have a chance to come back into the set here. And Engapet continues to pass poorly, but he keeps the swing high and hits himself out of that. Now, rotation 1, you see how Argentina is doing a great job targeting Engapet, which is why they struggle to side out from there. But if it's a good pass, Engapet is actually very good at hitting on the right side. Now, Soleil's been blocked twice. So if I were France, I will continue not to focus too much on him. We'll see what Chinese does. Another poor serve from Engapet. At this point, this many errors is hurting France because they've been keeping Argentina in the game here. Now, Argentina has simply been just serving in. They haven't gotten many aces. They've just been a lot more consistent here. Poglahan, the veteran, serves out. He's a little bit tentative on that serve. Sometimes when you're trying to serve in, you end up changing your mechanics. You slow down your arm swing, you start dropping your elbow, and you usually serve right into the net. On that one, he ends up serving out because he drops his elbow and hits under the ball. Chinese down the line to Poglahan, and good one-hand set from Pacheco. Conte tries to recycle off the block, but Patry is such a good blocker this match. Pushes over the net and turns his hands back in. Great blocking technique from Patry. Now, just because you're tall doesn't mean you're going to be a good blocker. but it does increase your chances of blocks simply because you are over the net for a longer period of time, compared to a shorter blocker is only above the net for less because they have to jump at a higher height and they fall faster. Great day from Brazard there, no look swing, and Ngapet out of system. Let's see if Pacheco, oh, that was an overplay. That was a bad call. I don't think any part of the ball was over the net, and now unfortunately they cannot challenge this. So Pacheco trying to do a one-handed set from below the plane of the net, and the only time Legoff can challenge this to block the ball is if the ball is over the net. Okay, so the argue for the referee might be, let's see if they can get a challenge. I wonder why Argentina is challenging. I think they're going to challenge the play just to prove to the ref that they made a wrong call. Now the referees are starting to lose control over the match here. So they do issue the challenge. So the only thing I can think they're trying to challenge is if Legoff touched the net. No, he didn't. See how the ball does not cross the plane of the net on contact. That was an interesting change of call. I don't think the referee is actually allowed to change that judgment call over on the replay because they challenged the touch here.
Well, the referee has made his decision eventually.
That was an interesting change. The only situation I can think of is if the referee wants to replay that for his own judgment to see if there was an over. But if the referee makes the call, I don't think you can actually challenge the replay for an overcall because that's a judgment call. Now, even though in the replay the ball was obviously not over the plane of the net, and it wasn't over from Legoff there. Now it's a one-point game. Controversy already brewing in the semifinal match here. We'll see if France can shake off this call here, because that was a bad management from the refs here. Ngapet with a good pass here, and rare error from Cliveno trying to go for that sharp angle, but it's not there. And Coach Tilly continuing to show some more frustration for his team. He knows that they're only a few points from the gold medal match. It's so hard as a coach to maintain your composure, because if you lose it on the sideline, your players will become distracted and emulate your behavior and become frustrated too. Another solid pass from Ngapet, and Cliveno gets another opportunity, and they're not going to call the lift there. And now the players have completely lost confidence in the refereeing crew. Is Argentina going to have another challenge here? I think that was clean. That was a quick release. I don't think that was a lift call. No challenge here. France up by 1. Can they finish this in 3? Save some energy for the gold medal match, or are they going to let off the gas, lose focus, and let Argentina come back in the game, which Argentina is very capable of? But now both sides are arguing with the ref, and Argentina just needs to focus on volleyball. They cannot control the refs here. Patry with a solid serve, but Conte passing so well, and fast set to Conte, their rock. Argentina has been so rock solid because of Conte here with this performance. And he goes for that quick seam. The speed of the set forces Legoff to be late, and Legoff unable to close the block there. Great celebration from Donny, the Argentinian libero. Ramos in to block, seeing if they can squeeze out one more point, and Sanchez in to serve. Interesting substitution here. And Ngapet getting something going from his Bic. And Pacheco subbing back in. That was an interesting sub.
Big match player, big match temperament. Some people love him.
Just a little bit late on the close there, and Brazard seeing the hole in the block. Ngapet coming through big. when France really needs him. And I believe Pacheco's coming back in here. Klivno with an easy jump float. Poglahan barely passes that one. And Lima hits down the line. Look at that great dig from Grebennikov there. And another big attack from Poglahan. Open net. But how does he miss that one? France bites very hard on both middles. Pacheco gets him set up in a perfect position. Sometimes when things are too good, it's very easy to overswing because you think it's easier than it is, or you end up overswinging, realizing how easy the situation is. Boyer subbing in again for Engapet. But wow, Poglahan had an open court. It would have been 22-22, and now it's 23-21. Can Argentina stay confident enough to be able to come back? And Conte with a power tip, and the ref, rightfully so, lets it go. Because that was a quick release, same release as Klivno. Good let go call. And Boyer, that was the right matchup they wanted, sending Conte against Boyer, but Boyer cannot slow down the ball enough. Argentina only down by 1 point, and having Conte, one of their best servers, on the line. Solid serve. He takes off a little bit, but a great pass from Klivno. And a fantastic dig from Donny. Can Lima keep it high? Yes, he does. But great cover from Legoff here. Engapet squeezing it through. Engapet just trying to take a swing on that ball there. I don't think he was aiming anywhere, and sometimes that works. On that one, that was such a weird out-of-system play coming over his shoulder that just being aggressive pays off, and it does for Argentina. They cannot seal the block in time. And Luati, one of the best serving subs here. And did they call the sub in time? No, they didn't. This continues to be an interesting match here. Okay, so they do call the sub. They just had to go through some formalities here. And Luati, he likes to serve that area 1-to-1 cross-court serve. We've seen him do it multiple times. And the ball is most likely going to Conte. He is the one that is going to keep Argentina in this game. He serves right to the libero and backs it to Lima. And a stuff block from Chinese. And look at France with the celebration here. Lima continues to swing low and gets stuff blocked by Chinese. This is the first time that France has been in the semifinals ever. What history from France here. Tough loss, good fight from Argentina. Tough loss for Argentina and great play from France. Right from the beginning, we saw the confidence of France coming in, acting like they belong there. And Argentina being unsure of themselves. You can tell that they looked nervous. And I believe it's because it was their first time playing in the semifinals. But also I believe it's the first time France playing in the semifinals, at least in a long time. Not with this group especially. And mindset is so important. France has always had the belief that they could be a world-class team, even if their world rankings or performance didn't show it. And just having confidence, even if it's not founded on performance, is so important. Argentina has the hitters. They have the talent. This is the best Argentinian team we've seen in a long time. But they didn't have the right mindset. And that's easy for me to say as an observer, because I'm sure they were under so much pressure and felt the anxiety of trying to play at that level. And the biggest difference was France. Not only was their confidence, the serving I believe was pretty even. Service C was pretty even. I think they both have had equal side-out opportunities. But France was just so much better in transition. They played great defense, but they killed the ball in transition much more often than Argentina. And Argentina, they continue to swing low, except for Conte. Conte, that's what an international swing looks like. Swinging high into the block, tooling, and out of system. And France, they had so many hitters with such great hitting that they were unstoppable in transition. So congratulations to France for making program history by being in the first Olympic final in the history of their program. And this is a dangerous team. When you have this much confidence, it doesn't matter whether the other team is better than you on paper. Confidence takes you a very long way, and they're playing like they have nothing to lose. So this is going to be a really interesting match between Russia and France. I can't wait to watch it. Who would have expected that the finals would have been between France and Russia? Congratulations to both teams, and I'm looking forward to covering that game. We'll see you guys in the next video.